I'm recording. Okay, hello, and welcome to RollBound, I don't know, fucking point .5. I am here with, some of the members of the party within RollBound, as there are a few things that got, they didn't make it, it's fine. So I'm going to have, Charybdis, Chronoheres, and Lady Reverie, and they are going to tell the events of the catacombs dungeon. I'm not going to have anyone in particular go first. I am just going to sit back, maybe ask a few questions ever so often, and just let y'all run wild, doing what you do best.
Who are you, and how did you get in my house?
Don't worry about it. I'm just here to figure out what happened when all of you entered the catacombs, especially since some of you aren't here.
Well, man, let me tell you, you could not have picked a better person for this job than me. I remember everything that happened.
Cool, so can you tell me what happened?
What's a catacomb?
It's the area with all of the dead people under Lysince.
We took a fairly direct approach to begin. We used a spell to locate objects, searching for mirrors, specifically, what we needed.
Why a mirror?
Oh, I actually know this part. For the storybook, there was the mouse and the dragon, and there was a enchanted mirror described in it, and y'all heard that a mirror similar existed, and from my understanding, you went into the catacombs looking for it.
Right, I already knew that. I was just making sure that you knew that.
Okay.
We had got into the catacombs with the intention of finding this mirror. Along the way there, we met a creepy little kid that was creepy as hell, telling us some stuff about his missing mom, missing woman, missing person, and then decided to use the locate object spell to try and find a magical mirror. But it turns out there were a lot of dead people, just an exorbitant amount of dead people, an unnecessary amount of dead people underground, and many of them, believe it or not, it was in vogue to be buried with mirrors, so it took us a while, because it kept taking us to different mirrors.
Indeed. We also found the corpse of a deceased Crowley in there. Antoinette, specifically.
She was nice.
Antoinette was the ghost you were helping out, right?
Yes, we promptly desecrated the body, taking a sample of its mucus for study. We obtained some of the poison used to slay her as well.
It's pretty
she was
gross.
poisoned, by the way. We forgot to say that part, but yeah, that happened.
So you got one step further into discovering the murderer of Antoinette Crowley.
Kind of.
Kind of. But that's a story for later, obviously.
The good news is we capitalized on that right away. That is not a plot thread that's been hanging for any time at all.
No time at all. So did you end up finding the mirror that you were, actually looking for?
Well, we came across this really big door that went into this large chamber, and there was a big, expensive-looking coffin in the center, and I had a bad feeling about it before we even went in the room. I already knew this was going to be a bad time based on, a lot of the things that we'd already been doing up until this point. But, the spell we were using was telling us there was a mirror in there, and, we gotta get rid of all leads first, so we opened it up, and, a really angry ghost popped out. She tried to kill us.
Now, how'd that go?
Well, it could have gone better, but it also could have gone worse. A lot of us got pretty hurt, but nobody died, so that's pretty cool. We ended up defeating this ghost, and Well, as it turns out, this mirror that we were looking for, it trapped her soul or something. I'm still not entirely sure how the whole process worked. Chronoheres, perhaps you have insight as to how this sort of magic works?
Per the story, the mirror was enchanted with some sort of forced possession. Her soul was imbued into a quarter of it.
Yeah, that.
This was highly affirming, as it showed us that the key to this mythical land may or may not have been in this mirror. Further discovery is necessary.
And there are also other places, right? Other slots in that mirror, other things that needed to be filled.
Indeed.
So we need to find more ghost women.
5? 5 to be exact. 4 more.
So you actually found the mirror you were looking for, and when you defeated the person holding onto it, she just got sucked inside of the mirror, and that was it?
It was kind of anticlimactic, to be honest. But that wasn't the end of the catacombs. One of the reasons we went in there, as you know, was as sort of a favor to Nivius. Something about the containment for an oracle beast, I think he called it, getting loosened. So we had to go repair it, and like pretty much everything else that day, it didn't really go according to plan.
Was it just on the other side of the room with the scary lady in it, or
I wish. It was down a hallway full of scary ghost spirits that were very angry and very loud, and we were trying to sneak past them, and Reverie's clanking armor did not help with that endeavor.
Hey.
It never does.
I did a great job.
The clank of Reverie's armor kept alerting the spirits. But eventually, we managed to get our way through, and, well, then we had a, shall we say, minor lapse in judgment.
Minor lapse in judgment? What do you mean by that?
I'd call it a minor fortune. A miracle, really. We approached the mechanism to fix it. I approached the mechanism to fix it, and did so. At this point, the beast this mechanism kept in place spoke to us.
Hang on. I can do a really good impression. Ready for this?
Please don't.
Oh, go
No,
for it.
I can do this. No, you're gonna trust me. You're like this. It's me, the Oracle Beast. Hey, I'm the Crimson Oracle.
That's what it sounded like?
Yeah, give me your blood, baby. Cowabunga.
That is actually quite apt.
I do remember it saying Cowabunga, yes.
It seemed out of place at the time, but I'm glad that, glad that we all agree. Well, fortunately, we all agreed, because something that he said was that he would tell us our fortune if we fed him part of our blood. And obviously, none of us were going to do that. So, as I recall, we all left. And that was that.
No.
But that's
First of
not
all,
really
you
what
only
happened,
asked
is it?
You only asked for meat, not one of our bodies or blood specifically. Meat. A desperate beast will settle for even the most minor satiation, I'm sure.
But didn't Nivius tell you all not to interact with the beast?
Yes.
Nivius said many things.
Yes, Nivius absolutely said that, which brings me back to minor lapse in judgment.
I think it was like one rule. Like, that was like Bill 1 rule, right?
Yeah, I feel like
I
feel like he gave you a... I remember distinctly he told you specifically that it will try to persuade you. He tried to say that it would try to get you to do its bidding in some way, shape, or form, and to not listen. Particularly was his word choice.
Yeah, well, unfortunately, my brother has a habit of meddling in things that, well, I'm not going to say he doesn't understand. It's more like I don't understand, but I understand enough to know that they're dangerous. I tried to stop him. We all tried to stop him, really, except for Winfrey, who encouraged him repeatedly. And, well, despite my efforts, Chronoheres succeeded. He fed the beast, and it admittedly gave us some information. I don't recall what it was, though, because I was too busy trying not to kill my twin.
What
Also-
did it tell you all? Oh,
Also
please.
worth noting, just throwing out there, because I do remember this part, if Chronoheres had wanted to feed the beast, I wasn't really going to stop him. The thing that I did try and stop, though, was he was going to cut his hand and put his own blood on the meat. That was the thing that kind of threw me off. So I tried to stop him from doing that. The thing I didn't account for was a 4-foot-tall, angry Winfrey, just doing it when I was preoccupied. So yeah, she cut her hand, put it on the jerky, and then fed it to the beast.
Oh, so
Unfortunately,
you guys.
would forego discovery for risk aversion, but indeed, thanks to the aid of my companion, we did obtain some vital information.
What did the beast tell you guys?
Do you want me to do it?
Quite
No.
specifically to
Do you want me
me
to
and my
do it?
sibling that yeah, sure, go ahead.
You want me to do it in the
Okay.
voice? I can do it in the voice if you want me to. You just gotta say.
Chronoheres steps out.
Do you want me to do it in the voice?
Chronoheres steps back in. Yeah, do the voice.
Great. I'm Chrono in Charybdis. She is where you think she is. Hey. Hey. There, you gotta keep running. Just keep running. Hey, you there, little angry sea elf girl. The clean blood, yeah, I remember it. It's Maria. The clean blood is on the other side of the water. We never actually talked about that. That's fucked up, right? The clean blood is on whatever.
No,
The clean blood. Yeah, sorry, I didn't mean to break character. The clean blood is on the other side of the waters. I'm getting an accent. And then, lastly, you small angry woman. She is there as well. I think that was it.
Indeed. Some vital information, really, as we previously had not known the whereabouts of our estranged sister.
Well, he hadn't known for sure, but I had sort of a gut feeling. I was really hoping I was wrong.
So did it didn't give you anything specific? Just weird, cryptic, very creepy riddles?
Of course it gave us cryptic information. It's a stupid creature in a locked cell that's supposed to be there. We weren't supposed to feed it in the first place. If it gave us everything we wanted to know, we would have no reason to come back and feed it again.
Which we're definitely not going to do. Right?
Hopefully.
Anyhow, it allowed us to confirm some suspicions, valuable for the price, a good trade overall. And as that was done, everybody realized that I was indeed right once again, and we
You
left
did?
the dungeon just as we had entered.
I feel like I remember a certain thing there. I feel like there's one thing that's being left out.
I
Excuse-
may have lost my temper and broken Chronoheres' nose.
Oh.
Yeah.
Broken is an exaggeration, more fractured,
I mean,
bruised,
I
disfigured.
heard a snap.
Snapped.
Yeah.
Anyway,
We fixed it. It's better now.
yes. Due to the efforts of Lady Reverie, my nose was repaired, and we left the dungeon as we had entered, without fail, and with not only some vital information, but a key in the mirror as well.
Oh! Also, I just found this in my pocket. This was on the ghost... in the ghost woman's coffin? There wasn't a
Why
body.
was that is there a reason you put this in your pocket?
I kind of forgot that it existed. But yeah, there was this little poem thing.
What?
I probably should have told you all about this. I don't think I did.
This
probably wasn't-
now?
It was probably not important.
With this
Do you want-
strange invader in our stead?
Oh no, please,
no.
please continue. I like poems.
Yeah, no, what I did was I spoke with Maria about it. I read it, memorized it immediately, committed it to memory, never gonna forget. Immediately forgot where I heard it before, but I remember all the words.
Okay, what are the words?
So, and then Maria and I made a song to it. Do you want me to sing it to you? I'll take that as a no. I'm just gonna read it. So, yeah. Do you want me to do this in the Beast voice as well, or just I'll just do it.
Have it. Just sing it. Just sing it.
Just sing it?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Lovely.
I forgot the tune. I'm just gonna read it. So it's fire and sand, mirror in hand, through the high forests and frozen lands, hidden in shallows and what?
And the poem. Continue.
Hmm?
You were reading the poem, and
What
can
poem?
you read the poem and start from the word "and"?
Yeah. And sand, mirror in hand, through the high forests and frozen lands, hidden in shallows and
Does it just end there?
Well, what the fuck comes after "and"?
sand. I said it before. Yeah, it's fire and sand, mirror in hand, through the high forests and frozen
Well, the
lands, hidden in
second
shallows
"and", there are
and.
two "ands".
Yeah, the
Something
one.
after
No,
the
that's
second
fine. Sorry, the one after the second and is frozen lands, hidden in shallows and
And what? And
fire
what?
and sand, fire and sand.
No.
I don't. Am I not saying it right? I say it in Infernal. Nikof Yusani, Ishalak Mochani. Fire and sand, mirror in hand, through the high forests and frozen lands, hidden in shallows and.
It ends at "and". That "and" specifically, the one you just said.
Oh, well, yeah, it's all smudged underneath. I can't really read it.
Okay, well. Okay.
Hope that helps.
Fire and sand. Considering the location of it may have been left there. Possibly clues for the locations of the other souls needed to place into the mirror. However, at the present moment we understand not its purpose.
Well, in any case, it's a good indication that what we thought was going to be much more clear after we went through the catacombs. We had just gone past the first layer.
Seems like you all have a long way to go.
You could say
I
that.
think we almost got it. I think we're almost there. Any day
I
now.
believe there was something else that happened, quite troubling. Perhaps as retribution for my sister damaging my nose. Sorry. Perhaps as a progression in our role as the Grand Inquisitor of the Mobius family, a certain transformation occurred. Do you remember anything from that time, sister?
I remember it hurt a lot. I also remember
Like when you broke my nose, it hurt. Sorry, continue.
when I channel the magic of the Inquisitor, it has a certain feeling to it. It's very orderly, very neat, very balanced. But this, whatever this was chaotic and primal. Unlike anything I'd felt before.
Like getting your nose broken?
Brother, I swear, you are the biggest baby sometimes.
Speaking of observation, you had a odd transformation to your nose. Was permanently offset a little bit, asymmetrical, and scales grew along your arm, your face. Your pupil underwent a transformation to an acute and long-set heterochromia occurred. One eye, a shade of orange, I would say, like the furthermost tinge of sunset, and a cat-like reptilian pupil.
I think you look great.
It's odd. The scales in the eye, both similar in coloration. Gold. Never seen anything like it before.
Certainly no accident, as the dragon that once pacted with our family was of the golden variety, symbolizing divinity, no doubt.
In any case, I think I've gotten enough info for what I need about the catacomb dungeon y'all very evidently suffered through. In any case, I'm sure that I will be speaking to you all again. Have a good night, and have a safe journey.
Hold on. You can't just leave without introducing yourself.
Yeah, where are
Closes
we?
the door. Who are you?
Oh, me? That is for me to know, you to never know, and for the rest of the world to find out.
Reverie.
Bye! Hello, and welcome to RollBound. My name is Chas, and I am the DM for this wonderful group. We're going to go down the list and everyone introduce themselves, starting off with Groove. Introduce yourself.
Hello, I am Groove, and I am bound to the role of Chronoheres Mobius.
Alrighty, and Allie.
Hello, I am Ali. I am bound to the role of Charybdis Mobius.
Alrighty, Minnow.
Hello, my name is Minnow. I am bound to the role of Lady Reverie.
Awesome. Mickey.
Hi, I'm Mickey, and I'm bound to the role of Maria.
And last but never least, Joey.
My name is Joey, and I am bound to the role of Winfrey McNeil. Okay.
So,
That was an accident.
where we last left off, Charybdis had gone back to the estate a bit earlier than everyone else due to her anger. And she went up and hid in Andrew's study. And when Andrew opened the door, Charybdis had turned over her shoulder with tears streaming down her face and arm covered in scales. And Charybdis, Andrew looks at you and he kind of backs up into the door for a second, like his elbows both hit the door. And he looks around and he goes, What has happened?
Andrew, I don't know what's happening to me.
He walks up to his desk, he kind of leans past Charybdis. Cause you said that she was sitting in his chair, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, so he's leaning around her, going through all of his things. And he goes, Alright, answer a few questions for me, okay?
Okay.
Do you feel any pain?
Yes.
Where?
She holds up her wrist, the inside of her wrist. And this is the first time Andrew would have seen this mark, because it was not as pronounced when they were younger. And it looks like it is filled with fire.
And you said it was shaped like an infinity symbol, yeah?
Yeah.
Andrew, reaches his hand out and he goes, Do you mind?
Not at all.
And he grabs it and he looks it over and he reaches towards his desk and he grabs another pair of glasses, because his glasses already have a thing where he can tap it down and have a more magnified view. He grabs another pair of glasses that increases that magnifying. You see more little blips that he can knock down where that makes the glasses a lot longer away from his face, but it more zooms in, and he looks at it very closely and he goes, Do you have any idea how you got this? Have you had it since birth?
I was born with the mark, but it doesn't... usually do things like this. It's been happening more lately.
More lately, do you have an event that might have triggered it that you can think of directly?
I've been fighting more, but that's about it. Using my powers.
I'm going to quickly make a roll for Andrew to see if he can give you an explanation. Why did I accidentally open Spotify instead of my shit with my stats in it? Okay, so that's an 18. Alright, so Andrew looks over and he like furrows his brows and goes, Charybdis, do you know if your family has any sort of draconic alignment?
She thinks for a moment, and I don't know, DM. Would Charybdis know?
Make me a history check, Charybdis.
I will. Use one of my metal die. Oh, that's actually a very good roll. I think that's a 20. Yeah, that's a 20.
So, Charybdis, you've heard in, very old stories and documents about your family, and most of it you thought was just like your dad trying to make your family sound cooler, that at some point in their ancient history, that they were friends with a dragon, that they were in sort of, what's the word I'm trying to think? Alliance with a dragon. And that this, was something brought upon their family, and that at least on the, on Charybdis' side, because you know how for your genetics, a lot of the powers that Charybdis possess are usually passed along the female side.
Yeah.
Your family told a story that, is like, oh yeah, the female side gets their powers from a dragon. And that always to you sounded like it was gobbledygook for children. But you're starting to get the inference that both things told to you and Chronoheres are things that were originally told as ways to talk to children. But as far as Charybdis knows, there was never any more detail other than stories being told to you by your parents or grandparents.
So Charybdis thinks about it for a second and says, I heard stories about it, but I didn't think it was true.
That, and he like flips up all of the magnifiers on his glasses so that they're just a normal pair of glasses, and he goes, that's the only thing I can connect this to. This mark ties you to a dragon somehow, and it seems the more you use your powers and the more you get better at using them, and he like taps one of the scales, the more draconic you become. Now, I've heard of people with such marks, but I've never seen it manifest in such a way. Give me 1 second, Charybdis. You see him, like, kind of fumble with some vials and such, and he lifts up a vial that has, like, a blue kind of glowing liquid in it, and he goes, this might hurt, and I need you to trust me that I'm not going to intentionally, permanently harm you.
She just nods and then looks to his desk and finds like a quill or a pen or something and then just bites it.
Yeah, and he... just a singular drop of this liquid, he drops it onto the mark directly. Charybdis, make me a Constitution saving throw.
I'm good at those. Constitution... That is a 17.
Yeah, so... Charybdis, for like a split second, kind of like pouring alcohol on a fresh wound, it burns! And it burns really bad. You take a singular point of acid damage.
Acid damage, okay.
And it fucking hurts really, really bad for all of like 2 seconds.
I think at that point, Andrew would notice that the scales begin to spread rapidly across the arm and seem to, like, pops slightly off of Charybdis' skin in reaction to it, using her new ability to generate protective barriers.
Yeah. This is an effect put on you by someone else. This is definitely tied to you directly, so we can at least provide that you are not cursed. Andrew puts all of his stuff away and he taps you on the arm again and you heal that hit point. And he goes, unfortunately, Charybdis, you're just going to have to wait it out until the pain subsides. I do believe that some of the changes will not be permanent, as they are just currently in their highest peak of manifestation, but as good as I am with healing and medicine, I cannot cure you of this.
She says, it's alright. I'll manage. As long as it doesn't kill me, I suppose. She then goes to stand up, and the draconic eye flashes with energy that kind of spreads across the scales. She screams out in pain and collapses.
Andrew catches you. He lunges forward and she falls against his arm and he goes, God, shit.
And she will be unconscious for the next 8 hours.
Yeah. He calls for some of the stone servants of the manor, and Charybdis, which we'll get to that when you wake up the next day, you were in your own room. Which, for everyone else, unless there's something really important that needs to be settled before a long rest, I would like to move on to the next day.
How long is that duck gonna stay good for?
Probably another week.
Really? Alright, cool.
There is one super quick thing I want to do.
What's up?
So, I mentioned before that Lady Reverie is just kind of AWOL. Just sort of disappeared in the middle of the conversation with Antoinette, seeming to have gotten bored and misplaced herself. She will go out into the snow and will find Bartleby in the stables, and will fall asleep on him. And we'll spend the night in the stables with Bartleby.
No. Alright. So, you all gain the effects, finally, of a long rest. And also, finally, it is Phoenix. It's the first of Phoenix on Fire Sun.
So,
We're finally in a new day and a new time.
Man, that day was so long, it felt like 6 weeks.
Hog.
So, all of you gain the effects of a long rest. Chronoheres, tell me usually what your dreams are like.
Chronoheres' dreams are usually fairly mundane. He often has these strange memories, sometimes traumatic, sometimes ordinary, come up. And generally, he forgets them as soon as he awakes.
Yeah, so, Chronoheres, you go to sleep whenever it is you decide that you need your rest. And, you feel like as soon as you've dripped into consciousness, you wake up again. But when you open your eyes, you are in a place unfamiliar to you. You are in a place that looks like you're underwater, while at the same time, you're not. There's no liquid, but it's just this sort of blue, low-light area where it feels like it expands on for forever. And, you hear a voice that, like you're underwater, sounds muted and warped in a way, but you still hear it. and you hear a voice calling out your name. Like it's far away or like it's an ocean away. Just, Chronoheres! Chronoheres! And it echoes in your head. Like it feels like it's so far away, but like it's being screamed in your ear at the same time.
Is he fully cognizant? Or is this like a dream paralysis?
It is sort of like a dream paralysis. You can move, but you're in this liminal space that feels so congested, but also like it goes on forever at the same time. It is the weirdest aerial manifestation that Chronoheres has experienced. And you feel like when you watch yourself move, like you see at least 4 copies of you move at the same time. There's this sort of motion blur to all of your movements.
Chronoheres would begin swimming up toward the voice.
And as you do so, the voice becomes more and more clear, and it sounds like your elder sister, Saurus. Just calling out to you like she would whenever you did something ridiculous as a child, and she had to stop you. Like she's trying to protect you from something. And as you're trying to swim up, you feel multiple grips on your ankles, trying to pull you back down.
Oh no. Yeah. He would look down and try to see what is grasping at him.
It is you, Chronoheres. There are multiple copies of you, each with very minor differences, grabbing at your ankles, trying to pull you back down.
Yeah, he's not a fan of that, so he's going to continue trying to swim desperately up toward his sister.
One of the copies of you, his hair is gone completely gray. He doesn't look any older, but his hair looks like it is just completely grayed from stress. And actually, one of his eyes is completely missing. And then the other one, he looks maybe a little bit older than you are currently, has a little bit of scruff on his chin, and he looks like he has a scar down one side of his face and what looks to be a burn mark on his lower jaw. And one of them seems to be yelling at you, but you can't quite make out what he's saying. It's so muted. Despite him being closer to you than the sound of your sister's voice, it seems so muted. While the other one, you know, they take on different tones. The one with the grayed hair seems like he's yelling at you, like he's pissed off, like just screaming at you and everything that can be aligned with the emotion of anger. And the other one seems like he is urgently trying to tell you something. And each of them very aggressively are trying to pull you back down into the depths where you started. But louder than anything, you hear the voice of your sister. And you hear, "Take my hand!" And you see this hand, like this ethereal hand, reach from seemingly nowhere above you.
Yes, he would absolutely reach up and out to grasp Saurus's hand.
Yeah, and almost right as you were about to lock fingertips, you see this wave of darkness overcome you, and then it is the next day.
As Chronoheres sits up, vividly remembering his dream, he suddenly, as if sent to him, has the most incredible vision of equations and diagrams and all sorts of different chemical equations. And grasping his head to take it all in, he will rapidly grab his storybook and begin sketching over his previous notes.
Yeah. And, real quick, Reverie.
Up, homie.
How are, if Reverie at all, how do you dream?
Well, Reverie's dreams are fucked up because, in a sense, they are her reliving the day and everything she remembers. However, this time it is Runner that is in control, not Reverie. That is sort of the trade-off that they have, that in dreams, or when she is asleep, that Runner is the one who sort of has almost like she has a film reel in front of her. She can run through things and go back, and they talk as much as they can. However, Reverie's always in kind of that sort of loopy, dreamlike state when they have these conversations, because, again, Runner's the one that's in charge when we sleep. And so I think that she's kind of like fading in and out and just enjoying Runner's company the way that, she is closer with her than she possibly could be with anyone else. And so just being around her, even in this sort of semi-awake state, is an absolute pleasure for her.
Yeah, so when you rest your head to go to sleep, when you sort of look in a normally very comfortable space with Runner, it has this very sort of weird aura to it. It feels like you see everything in this dark purple. And, you get the sense that through your dreams that Runner is actually trying to tell you something very urgent.
Okay. I will reach out to her, a little bit confused because it's usually very easy for her to do so in this state. But I will call out, Runner!
Yeah, and you see this memory appear, almost like normally when you ask Runner a question, you see this memory come up of that woman in the very slim armor with the sort of purple accents and the masked face and hooded face. And there was a memory that I told you about a few sessions ago where you saw them out in the wilderness and someone close to Runner had just died. Mm-hmm. And this seems to be before this memory. And you see an instance of, from Runner's perspective, her fighting this person. And the person goes again in that sort of hiss-like, echoey voice, "You can't stop me! You will never stop me!" And you hear like a blurred out, thing as if she said a name, but it gets all you can't make it out. And then she pushes Runner, and you see from Runner's perspective just falling to the ground, and she goes, "I'm going to open the portal to the Aether Spine, and you can't stop me, and you won't." And you hear you see the shaking of as if Runner was shaking her head. And she goes, "That's all you do is run away from our plans. We were going to do this together to fix shit. And you fucked it up. That's all you do. You're a coward. You run away. That's all you do. You're a runner. You're a coward. You flee. You do nothing. And after tonight, if I ever see you again, you're dead." And then just this... You see her take out this bow. This very, very pretty purple and black bow. And you see her draw back the string, and then not one, but 3 shots hit Runner in the face. And then the memory ends. And there's more flashes of this person's face, just sort of fluttering in front of Reverie's vision like a super fast-forwarded tape. And Reverie gets the sense of panic. And then the beast's voice and what it said, how it said, "You'll always be a runner," just sort of echoes with these fast-forwarded things, and then suddenly everything is all black. And then it's daytime.
Reverie snaps up, probably startling Bartleby, who kind of jumps up a bit. But she actually will call out, "Runner!" Fuck! Runner?
You feel like a sensation of like, hi. You see like a memory of like a morning sky for like a split second.
Yeah, she like looks up, her heart rate is like through the fucking roof right now. She has summoned the Apricity Scintilla and doesn't even recognize that she's done it for a couple seconds. And I also think that as she looks down, she notices that her left hand has balled into a fist, as if she is going to strike something. As often happens when she first wakes up and Runner loses control, there's a little bit of Runner still in charge. And so she takes a moment to flex her hand again and just breathes and says, Did you do that? That was new. That doesn't normally happen.
You get this, like... Because, again, since you're usually communicating through memories, you get this, like... You get a memory that reaffirms that, yes.
Yeah, totally. Even if it's, like, through a memory, the way that I've kind of described it is that, like, we are so impossibly close to each other that we can very easily infer, like, there is no miscommunication.
Yeah.
So she says, okay, well, seen her before. Not a fan, gotta say. She wasn't very nice to you. Well, it's like we've always done, right? We avoid. We stay away. Oh, fuck.
And
sorry.
You get this echo in your head of that lady's voice that says, you can run and you will always run, but you cannot run from me forever.
Well, the Eldritch Sisterhood can kiss my ass for all I care. They're not gonna have you, okay? We're gonna be fine. And we'll deal with these things as they come up.
And you get this sense of, like, understanding, but still very, like... You know, like, when someone's trying to tell you something important, and you kind of... And someone says to them, like, we'll figure it out, and they kind of just go, okay, I guess.
Yeah.
That feeling.
Yeah, and I think that she fucking gets it right back. Runner has no idea. But, I mean, this was the deal. And I think she even says, she even says this. It's like, this was the deal. Keep you safe. We get to do some good. We stay away from them all. Okay? They're not going to have you again. I will not let them. Yeah. And if you ask me for what that plan looks like, you are asking a very stupid question of me. Because let's be honest, I'm not great with those.
Yeah, you get this sense of understanding and, like, a kind of, like, we'll work it out a little later.
Yeah. Sorry, hon, I didn't mean to call you stupid. I'm just... Whew, that was a lot.
Yeah. And lastly, Maria. What is your rest like? Because I know you don't typically need to sleep, but what is that like for you when you meditate or decide to sleep for shiggles?
Yeah, Maria doesn't really typically go to sleep often because most of her dreams end up in nightmares. But all of her dreams always start off as like a tavern scene, and like there's a whole bunch of people there, but there's only like 6 faces that aren't just like completely blurred out, and they're all like elven individuals. And then it turns, and then another person comes in, and then it all turns like dark, and like dark blue shades cover like everything. It's kind of like looking through like drunk glasses.
Yeah.
But like everything is covered with like a film of blue, and it's just yeah.
Yeah, so, Maria, you kind of reach your sort of meditative state and you hear just a voice in your head. And it's very to the point. You just hear a voice in your head saying, "Blood." And you hear the sound of, like, ocean waves just churning in the back of your mind. And you see, like, the outline, like, in your head, you see the outline of a familiar figure that you do recognize as the person that brought upon your curse. You know, and for a second you, like, swell with anger, you know, like, oh, fuck this guy. But then you see, in a split second, a shadow, what looks like a shadow, come up behind this individual, wrap one arm around, pull closer, and then the other arm comes forward with a knife and pierces them in the chest. And then both of the shadows just melt into what looks like a splash of blood into the ocean, and then you are snapped out of it.
Oh. Fuck. Yeah, as soon as, like, Maria, like, snaps back to, like, reality, she is gonna sit there, like, blinking in the room that she was probably provided for a bit, for about, like, 20 minutes before she's like, fuck this, and then she gets out of bed and goes back down to the main, like, dining area and steals another bottle of wine.
Oh, yeah, but that was very important. So, what did the rest of you do in the morning?
Chronoheres would be stuffed into his room, seemingly testing something out and still scribbling before he forgets the information. He would also probably dialogue the dream somewhere.
Like, just jot it down real quick.
Yep.
Does Chronoheres at any point in time leave his room, or is he like, I'm in here now, I'm stuck?
Yeah, he's going full hermit.
Alright. Lady Reverie, how does your morning proceed after your very abrupt awakening?
Yeah, so she has this little conversation, makes sure the runner is okay. She then apologizes to Sir Bartleby, gives him a couple scritches, and then she is going to go through her exercises with a little bit, you know, Reverie really doesn't like doing these that much, but Runner really enjoys them, and it's also important to, you know, be a paladin to be strong. So she's doing the one-handed push-ups, the crunches, everything. But this time, Reverie is much more into them than usual because she uses it sort of to lose herself a bit. So she does come in probably around the time whenever breakfast is served, smelling like stable and wet dog and sweat, and is like shivering because it's so cold out and she's all sweaty. But she does come in with her same usual bright smile on her face for breakfast.
And by this point, would everyone else, other than Chronoheres, be down and awake?
Yes.
Yeah, Charybdis at some point would come out, yeah.
Yeah, Charybdis, when you wake up, you have, like, these little stone pixies. Like, one of them has, like, a wet rag to her head and is just, like, patting her very gently on the forehead and then draining the water, which the rag is, like, disproportionately large in comparison to the little stone pixie, so she's just, like, using all of her might to, like, drain the excess water and then getting more cold water and tapping it along Charybdis's head. So Charybdis, like, when you wake up, you actually see the pixie, like, mid, like, tap, 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 oh!
Hi. Thank you.
Hi! You're awake!
I am. Yes.
Charybdis just, like, looks around, taking in the environment, because she has no idea where she is right now.
Yeah, so you're in a fairly large room that has, like, you know, it's a twin-sized bed. It seems like a room more meant for, like, You know, it's like a one-person room. Bed's like in the very middle of the room. There's like a vanity mirror and a desk. It's very like, there's not much in here, so you can tell that this is definitely a guest room. But a curtain that doesn't really match the color of the bedding, so Charybdis can actually infer that this was put up recently, was like put around the bed. And there's like tables pulled to be near the bed where you can see at least 2 other pixies along with this one that were like working away to make sure that Charybdis was like okay. And the cat that Andrew gifted to you is like at the foot of the bed, curled up next to Talk.
Charybdis just kind of reaches down and gives them both scritches. Does she have all of her equipment?
Yeah.
Alrighty. I think she instinctively reaches for the wire sphere and grabs it. And just kind of stares at it for a second before putting it back on her hip and starting to get up.
Yeah, and the pixies all help you up, and then like they all like 3 flutter to stand together in a line, and they go,
Breakfast is ready.
Thank you.
and then like 2 of them flutter away, but the one that was initially like tapping your head with the rag just goes,
Do you need any help?
No, I don't think so. And then, I assume you said there's like a mirror in here?
yeah.
Charybdis catches the full extent of her appearance in the mirror and then just kind of like gasps. Then just walks over closer to it and just like does that thing where she like kind of like looks side to side and just checks out what's going on and just kind of like stretches her eyelid open around the now draconic looking eye. She says, "That's new?"
And Charybdis does notice that the scales that were on her face are gone, but the ones on her arm that kind of wrap around her wrist remain.
She kind of looks down at it and concentrates for a second, and for a brief moment the scales quickly spread across her entire body as she casts mage armor for the day.
Yeah. So Charybdis goes down and meets up with everyone else.
Yep.
And then Winfrey and Maria, do you both come down as well?
Who do you think made dinner? Or, I mean, breakfast, fuck.
You right.
Yeah, Maria probably would have been down like before everyone else because she only sleeps for like so long, so she probably would have snapped out of it and then been in the dining room at like 4 a.m.
Yeah. When, yeah, so Winfrey, you come down to make breakfast and, like, Maria's just sitting at the table, like, halfway through a bottle of wine.
Is this, like, super late in the night still, or is this, like, the early morning?
Early morning, next day.
Well, good morning to you.
It's morning already? Damn. Morning.
Aye, that's what happens when you rest for so long, eh? Did you, were you at the table the whole time?
No, I checked out the room they gave me. I mean, I guess it was okay, but I've seen better at taverns.
Right. Do you like pancakes, love?
Quick question. The things that we ate that Chronoheres made us, were those pancakes?
Yeah.
They started out as pancakes, and then they turned into not pancakes.
Right, okay. So, I think she would, like, take a sip from her wine and just, like, look at you and be like, it's not gonna turn into fish again, is it?
No. No, not if I can help it.
Okay, great. Sounds good.
Aye. Anyway, you sit there and nurse that for a bit, and I'm gonna get that started then.
Yeah, so at some point, like, in the middle of Winfrey making breakfast for everyone sort of, like, converges at once. Like, Andrew comes out a little bit earlier, and he sits at, like, the top of the table, just sort of... He starts, like, tea and coffee up for everyone if Winfrey didn't. You know, and comes in and, like, looks between Winfrey and Maria and goes, "Good morning."
Winfrey is too engrossed with making a syrup out of the leftover blue strawberries. What are they called again?
Libraries.
Lieberries, thank you, because they lie about their color.
Yeah. While you're making that, Andrew, like, points to a container, like a weird, like, metal spherical container, and he goes, "There's fresh fruit in there, too, if you run out." And then continues, like, making his tea.
The idea is to use up the rest of it so that we're only using the fresh fruit, eh?
No, fair enough. And then,
You're eating this too, by the way. I still need to figure out whether or not I'm okay with you being around.
No, by all means. It smells great, so I'm sure it'll taste great.
Oh, your flattery will get you nowhere unless it actually tastes good to you, Flynn. I meant to say friend, but I said Flynn, like the name of the man from Tangled.
Love that you're saying this in his kitchen, by the way. I need to decide if it's okay for you to be here. Bitch, it's my fucking house.
Andrew just, like, he, like, chuckles and continues making his tea. And I believe at that point is when, like, Charybdis and Reverie converge to meet in the kitchen.
You smell Reverie before you see her.
Whoever that is what smells like shite and horse shite, you best not be walking into the kitchen thinking you can have a lot of bit of cooking without cleaning yourself up first.
You hear the footsteps stop and then scurry the other direction.
That's what I thought.
I think Charybdis runs into Reverie as she goes to wash up or whatever, and just says,
Oh, Reverie. Oh, good heavens. You smell like you've slept in a barn. Hold on.
and then concentrates for a second as once again a clock face, an ethereal clock face, appears around Reverie, spinning back as she casts Prestidigitation to clean Reverie off.
You want to know the best part about this? You run into Reverie and she doesn't say anything because a fucking golden dragon lady is looking back at her right now and is waving her finger at her, and Reverie's like, Charybdis?
Yes.
You okay, buddy? That's you, right?
Yeah.
You're radiant? In like a literal sense, though.
Thank you.
You're absolutely sparkling.
She takes a moment to like think like, was Charybdis always covered in scales?
Reverie's
And
having
then
a
just,
fucking
like-
crisis.
I think,
And despite the fact that she is clean, she just like kind of like pushes her back up against the wall and continues walking towards a bath, just like staring at you the whole time, super confused.
I think Charybdis at some point catches on and says,
Oh, don't worry. The scales in the eye. I know it happened before I went to bed.
Oh, yeah, no, who was worried? Not me. So we shouldn't worry. You're okay then.
Yeah, I'm fine. It's just another manifestation of my powers, I suppose. Apparently.
Oh.
Apparently,
You know-
I was not aware of a draconic intervention somewhere in my family line.
That seems like a big thing to forget, and that's coming from me.
In fairness, they told me stories about it, but I just never believed them. After all,
Oh.
Saurus never had anything like this. At least not that I saw.
Right, yeah. Chronoheres isn't also covered in scales, right? I didn't miss that?
He wasn't last time I saw him. But to
Oh,
be
okay,
fair,
good.
to be fair, last time I saw him, we were still down there, and I had just broken his nose.
Yeah, we should talk about that at some point. In the meantime, you're okay, though.
Yeah, are you okay?
I don't know. this is a lot for me, and I'm weird. I think I'm fine. I want to make sure that everyone is fine, and you seem fine. So I smell bad, and she looks down. Wait, no, I don't. Why would Winfrey say something so mean?
Probably just her, personality.
Oh, okay. Well, I think she's making cake, which is weird because I thought she didn't bake. And it's also a weird time for it, but I'm not going to say no. Do you want to go get some cake?
Sure, sounds good.
Great. She walks down the entire time staring at you. Like she trips on the stairs a little bit, doesn't fall, but like is staring at you.
Just
and
like, oh,
not
fuck.
watching where she's going. Yeah.
Um,
So to be clear, Charybdis is completely covered in scales because you cast mage armor, right? That doesn't go away.
No, so when she casts that, the scales cover her body for a moment and then just go back to the ones on her arm.
Just the ones on her arm. Okay, I was imagining like a full-on snake person looking back at me.
I mean, if you like touch Charybdis's skin, even in other parts of her body, it still feels scaly, but it looks like her normal skin.
Yeah.
Fucking
Okay.
scaly.
She would not touch you, by the way. And so yeah, we make our way to the kitchen again.
Charybdis looks over to Maria and says, "You look like you've had a long night."
More like having a long morning, eh? Oh, right, pancakes already or something.
I thought you were
Yeah,
making
right.
brownies.
What?
Maybe I misheard that.
Let's focus less on that and focus more on why all of you look like you've seen a ghost and one of you looks like you're about to turn someone into a ghost.
Yeah.
Charybdis looks over at Maria and says, "You do look like you're about ready to stab something. You alright?"
No, I was talking about you, love, covered in golden scales and whatnot, you dragon.
She just kind of looks down and says, "Well, from what I understand, golden dragons typically don't turn people into ghosts. Unless they do something really bad."
Okay.
You tell him, Winfrey.
Anything above my pay grade I consider too dangerous to be keeping around. And you look like you're only about 1/3 dragon, so I think you're fine for now.
"Thank you?" Charybdis sits down.
If you go full dragon, just be known that if there's a little bit of Charybdis left in you, you should be fine. But you go feral beast on me, and I'll have to terminate the contract as you're breaking one of them exceptions to the rule, eh?
I think if I go full go full dragon, as you say, you'll have bigger concerns.
Literally.
No, because I'm
Andrew
leaving.
says.
I'll be leaving. That's your problem. Skill issue.
Fair enough. Good morning, Andrew.
Good morning. And he, sets down a little plate with a little teacup on it.
She kind of looks down at it.
You still like strawberry tea, right?
I do.
Oh, thank the gods. And he, walks into the kitchen all fast.
So to clarify, he gave Charybdis a cup of strawberry tea.
Yes.
She just, looks down at it and smiles and then sips. And then this is when we find out that Winfrey laced it with cyanide.
Oh god, no. Do you have any idea how much trouble I would get in? Jesus Christ.
This is the moment we find out that gold dragons are allergic to strawberries.
That's funny. When Andrew is walking into the kitchen, I'm still there with the food in front of me, not yet, spread out to people yet. So I'm gonna, poke a little fun at him. I'm going to, pull him to the side very slightly, and I'm gonna, whisper to him, and I'm gonna say, "You still fancy her, don't you?"
He, looks down and goes, "That is." And he, looks away. None of your business.
She'd be the one that my contract is with, so I suppose it would be my business then, wouldn't it?
He, looks down at Winfrey, which she has to really crane his neck to do. And he goes, I'm not a part of that contract, so I am not obligated.
Rich people always feckin' lawyers, aren't they?
And he actually chuckles too and just goes, yeah, and then he just continues to walk into the kitchen and he goes, things are different. And he continues, did a lot of you prefer tea or coffee? Oh, fuck it, I'll just bring both.
I had never had coffee before.
Oh,
Do
then
not
I got...
give her coffee.
Yeah, Charybdis looks up at Maria when this gets said, and their eyes meet as Maria says, "Do not give her coffee," and then Charybdis just nods.
How does Runner feel about coffee?
You get this memory of that one other tiefling individual that you saw die in a vision, sitting at a quaint little, table outside of a cafe, in what looks like what's to be described as Northreath. There's a lot of, maple trees and such, and you see Runner, sipping on, a black coffee that she dropped, 3 sugar cubes in.
Oh, Jesus. Alright.
No cream, though.
Nasty, in my opinion. But okay. How old does the guy look?
In that visage, in his early 20s.
Okay, so this is
a while ago.
A good while before. Okay. Cool. I'll say, I'll take one with 3 sugar cubes.
And Andrew, looks over his shoulder and goes, that was very specific for someone who's never had coffee.
I am not on trial here.
Charybdis just looks up and says, I think Reverie just likes sugar.
Well, can't falter for
He
that.
doesn't like sugar, what the fuck?
And, he, brings a very large tray where on one side of it has, all the tea fixins on the other side has all the coffee fixins, and he very delicately sets it down. He kind of wobbled on his way there, and, 3 of, the stone pixies were like,
Oh no! Oh no!
Preparing to help him. But then he was like, I got it! It's fine! I got it! And he sets down the tray in, the middle of the table.
Tak begins serving people tea and coffee.
One of the little pixies knocks on the door that Chronoheres is in and goes,
Breakfast!
knock, knock, knock.
Breakfast!
Knock, knock, knock.
Breakfast!
After about the third set of knocks, Chronoheres would jump as if taken out of his focus, and you would hear a loud bang coming from within his room. Would hurriedly clean up some. You would hurriedly hear some cleaning sounds, and then he would open the door crack, say, "No, I'm not hungry."
You don't want breakfast?
No.
You want coffee?
Not from you. He closes the door.
Whoa.
The pixie, flies back all dejected and sad, and then,
Oh. My heart.
and then, flies and flutters and sits on Andrew's shoulders and goes,
He doesn't want coffee.
Andrew, looks up and, pats her on the forehead and goes, it's fine.
Charybdis gets up with the extra cup of coffee meant for Chronoheres and goes to find his room.
While that's happening, Reverie has the coffee in front of her with the 3 sugar cubes, and she keeps smelling it and going, oh god. And then pulls it up to her nose and goes to sip but can't do it. And then eventually she just okay, and she tries to down it all at once, burning the fuck out of her tongue, and just spits it all over the table. And then she just sounds oh, that is awful. Oh. And there's still half of it left, but she drinks the rest of it. And then it's like, oh my god, no, I want, no. Tea, please.
One of the pixies brings you over like a very fruity looking tea on a cute little dainty gothic cup and plate
She
and
chugs it
sets
all
it
at
down.
once. Just immediately tosses it back like Giorno drinking piss tea with his jelly tooth. And yeah, then she sits there, oh, you people drink this for fun?
So Maria's just sitting like near Reverie, and she's like sipping a like mug of black coffee. And when you ask that question, she's just gonna be like, "Yep," and she nods her head while like snickering into her cup.
Oh my god. This place is cursed.
Andrew, who is like stirring his cup of coffee that looks marginally different than the one that Reverie drank, he's like, "It's not my fault. You only asked for 3 sugar cubes."
Oh god, that was the worst part. It's like it wanted to punch me in the mouth with its bitterness, but then there was something else behind me that was like tickling my armpits at the same time. Oh, oh, no.
What vivid imagery. Regardless, so the lot of you said that you had a meeting in about a week's time?
We said that?
I don't know why we did. That's kind of dumb.
I don't remember making that plan. It's almost like the people that know that plan are
Yup.
here.
Yeah. Yeah. Andrew got told that information. And then he like looks up and thinks about it and goes, "Ah, right, the people I know aren't here," and then goes back to staring at his cup of coffee, stirring it.
Meanwhile, at Chronoheres' door. Toon, toon, toon.
Yeah.
Something about that guy. I can't tell what it is.
Sound of broken. What does that mean? Is that directed at me or? Okay. Broken glass being swept up. And after a little bit more, Chronoheres once again opens the door crack, and seeing it's his sister, his eyes go wide, and he will open the door all the way. Sister?
She nods to him with kind of like a sad frown and just says, "I brought you a drink."
Did you make it?
Yes.
Is that true? Can Chronoheres...
Make me an insight check.
Did she make the coffee? It's a dirty 20.
Dirty 20?
Yeah.
So I got a 21. So
Oh wait, I gotta add my guidance. Nah, I don't care. Yeah, what does Chronoheres think?
Charybdis is kind of hard to read, especially right now. She seems to have other things on her mind. You get that there's something troubling her.
Yeah, so he cannot tell conclusively if Charybdis made this coffee, or if Charybdis knows that Chronoheres will not drink a liquid whose origin he does not know.
Yeah, so by all accounts, sure, she made it.
Ah, in that case, yes, he will take it and slurp. What's going on downstairs?
Breakfast, mostly.
Let's see. He's just staring at the scales and whatnot, and averting his gaze when Charybdis looks up at him. I suppose we should head out soon. Have the others made any plans for what we're going to do while we wait for the meeting?
You'd have to ask them. I don't know.
I see.
Listen, Crow, I'm sorry.
Chronoheres takes a deep sigh and seems to deflate a bit. Put down the coffee and invite Charybdis to sit on the bed with him.
Which she will.
Yeah. And he puts his arm over her shoulder. He, takes a moment, looks around at the scorch marks near the desk, tries to look away from them so as not to attract attention. And then his eyes wander over to the little half coat he wears up on the coat rack in the room. You remember the day you gave that to me?
She looks up at it and says, I remember that. I had a lot going on that day. Source. Well, you know. But I tried to, I was having a shit day, so I figured I'd do something nice for you.
Yes. I believe it was my third paper which had been rejected without comment from the Elemental College. I was fairly excited to receive my lab coat, but clearly I didn't, and I remember you looking in and leaving for a while, I think. At this point, I wasn't going out very often. And you brought me a box. And it had that coat in it. And I told you, why the hell would I need this? I don't remember how the exchange went after that, but I appreciate it now. Because I know it means that you respect my work, even if you don't understand it. And that you only have my best interests in mind.
Of course. That's all I've ever wanted. Was for you to be happy.
I am well on my way to happiness, Charybdis. Thanks to you.
Charybdis just kind of looks over to him and just kind of puts her hand on his shoulder and just says, I have the utmost respect for what you do, for your mental capacity. I worry about you. I don't want you to lose yourself from all of this.
I understand, Charybdis, and I promise you I will stay whole.
That's all I ask. And she smiles at him.
He is looking away as he says this. Then he stands up and he goes, "Ah! Well then, I believe we've kept the others waiting long enough."
Right. Should probably figure out what the plan is. I'm sure they're waiting for us since, well, it's kind of my orchestration.
Yes. Yeah, and he'll get up his gear, get his coat, put it on, finish the coffee, and head down.
Oh,
as he gets.
There was one more thing. Charybdis reaches into her bag and pulls out a scrolled up piece of parchment
in sort of a makeshift tube and offers it to him.
You will take it. What is it?
As Chronoheres grabs the scroll out of the tube, it is bound with a purple ribbon that just kind of wraps it up. And he unfurls it, and it says at the top, Mobius University of Excellence recognizes Chronoheres Mobius as being a wonderfully kind and extremely intelligent wizard, and that it goes into some more like jargon that Charybdis obviously wrote looking at a similar certificate but didn't really understand, so it doesn't make a lot of sense. But yeah. It
Looks down at it. And up to Charybdis. And back down. And then he turns away. And his shoulders are shaking. And you think that he may be, so touched that he's crying, but as he turns, he is very clearly snickering at it. Thank you, Charybdis. This is very special. He will put it away into his storybook/journal.
She just kind of giggles a little bit and then walks with him.
He regains his composure and he will head down, look over everyone, and say, "Alright, I've received some pertinent information and I will need some time to perform some research. I'd like to expand upon some of my findings as well. Therefore, I believe that I and my sister will need to return to the estate for a while. We have a meeting with... Who is it, Charybdis?
It's Victor Frey, right?
You had a meeting with someone in Wintersbane that was within a week, and then Victor Frey was in a month.
Oh, right. So, we're talking to the mayor of Winterbane, Lucas Stonewall.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, it's Lucas Stonewall. And after that, I suppose we'll take whatever thread he gives us and run with it. For now, I suppose we could lodge you in the Mobius estate, if you so wish, but does anyone else have any intentions?
Reverie has more than that. What's a comical number of pancakes stacked up?
8.
I was about to say 8. Reverie has 8 pancakes stacked in front of her, and she has the biggest bite in her mouth right now. And she says,
Chronoheres doesn't even acknowledge her.
She nods like she just won something.
So where is this meeting taking place?
Charybdis.
It's at the, mayor's office.
Where?
It's at the mayor's office in Winterbane. 1 week
Winterbane.
from now. Would you like for me to show you on a map?
No. Actually, yes.
Yeah. This came off as slightly sardonic, but he was like 100% genuine when he said this.
Mm-hmm.
And he pulls out the map and will circle it for Maria.
Okay, so like how far away is the town from like where we are currently and then the Mobius estate?
The Mobius estate is a little bit outside of Winterbane.
Okay, so it's like within a like day travel, right?
Oh yeah, it's less than a day's travel to get to the city from the now from where you are currently. It's about the same amount of time it took you to get from the Mobius residence to here. And then from the Mobius residence to Wintersbane, it's like maybe like an hour walk.
Okay. Maria's gonna kind of like look at the map a bit and be like, I can follow you to your estate, but I would like to spend the week leading up to this meeting in the city.
In Wintersbane, or?
Yeah.
It sounds
Do
like
as
a
you
good
wish.
idea. I imagine you're very good at getting information out of people. Maybe you can, while you're out and about, just keep your ear to the ground and you might find something out that'll help us.
She's gonna kind of like look at the looking back and forth to the twins, and then she gets like this look in her eyes that like she's a little frustrated and like angry, but like not directed at you. And then she'll be like, "Yeah, I'll get some information."
Chronoheres would narrow his eyes as he sees this. There's something else you'd like to say?
What do you mean?
You
You
look
gave
like
me
there's
a-
something on your mind.
Certainly a nicer way of putting it.
She's gonna kind of like tilt her pirate hat like forward a bit and then back, and like her face is like her normal like blank state. Be like, no, just didn't sleep well last night.
Lady Reverie, who's still working on the same bite, her cheeks are like chipmunk size right now, so much pancake. Looks over at Maria and says,
Maybe with less shite in your mouth next time, miss.
just keeps chewing, looking.
Sorry, I don't speak mouthful.
She nods and swallows and says, "Great, it's decided then.
What's decided?
I took that as a yes.
Wait, what is going on?
You just agreed that we're gonna go travel to the city together.
I don't believe that was ever discussed.
I'm pretty
actually.
sure it's in writing, actually.
I'm pretty sure it's not.
No, it's great. We'll have sleepovers. It'll be fun.
I don't sleep.
I'm glad that you agreed to this.
I think you should have some more coffee.
No, that's a terrible idea, but I do think that your idea for me to come with you is one of your better ones. So thank you. So, we have this meeting in a week, so we're going to meet you there. In the meantime,
Did you just
Winfrey, what are you going to do?
gaslight Lady Maria?
I probably did, but I think that's on account of the coffee. It's already going through me, and I only had like a sip. And so sorry about that, everyone.
Dr. Agartha is taking bets with the Stone Fairies on who's going to concede first.
Charybdis looks to Reverie and says, "By the way, I couldn't help but notice you have a knack for finding, shall we say, mischievous entities."
I very literally have no idea what you're talking about, but I'm excited to find out.
I just want to check that I'm not stupid in this. So when we were in the crypts, Reverie did use Divine Sense, right?
Yeah.
And then, like, had an obvious feedback to that, or, like, said something about
Yeah,
it?
100%. Yeah, you would have seen her multiple times rip one of the leaves off her shield and sort of like crumble it up in her hand and then blow on it, and it would seemingly glow for a second, and then she would like point like, "There's one there, one there, one there."
Yeah, so Charybdis looks to Reverie and says,
You know, when we were in the crypts and you sensed those ghosts or whatever.
Oh, yeah, sure.
Weird things happen in Winterbane. Just
That
keep
sounds
your
fun.
eyes open, okay?
I only have one, but I will do.
Sorry, figure of speech.
Guess I have 3. No, I suppose that makes it 2, though. No, I have 1. We're sticking with 1.
Fair enough. I'm going to grab my things. And then Charybdis, stops in her tracks and says, "Oh, I suppose I haven't really eaten yet. I'll do that first, and then I'll grab my things."
Reverie takes another comically large bite. Looks over at Maria, gives her a thumbs up.
Charybdis eats her pancakes as quickly as she can without it being poor manners. And then is going to Shadoobie back to her room to gather her things.
Yeah, so the lot of you, I'm not gonna make us do the whole travel thing back there. So the lot of you are going to do a week worth of downtime.
Yep.
So
Ooh, we have a week of downtime. What does that give us?
I'm gonna go down the list. And you tell me where you're gonna be, if you're gonna be in Winterbane or if you're going to be staying with the twins, because they did offer it. And then I'm just gonna go down the list and have everyone make their rolls, and then tell everyone how it goes, and we'll continue on that. Does that sound alright?
Oh, that sounds great.
Okay, so I'm actually gonna go up the list in a different order. Winfrey, how are you going to be spending the next week?
Whoa, I thought you'd never ask. And shit, because I thought you'd never ask, I didn't have an answer prepared. I do have a few ideas. Let's just go with the one that was on the top of my head. Winfrey is gonna go looking for some kind of ceremonial / ornate goblet of some kind that would more than likely go with her Athame.
It's a theme.
Athame. I keep forgetting if I was right on that.
That's why I named the one episode's Athames and Card Games, is because I found out that it
rhymes. That's funny.
I looked that up specifically to see if it rhymed.
To see if it rhymed? Yeah, that makes sense.
So, are you wanting this goblet to be magical, or do you just want a fancy goblet?
It just needs to be worth a lot of money, and if I have to steal it, that's fine.
Okay.
Because Winfrey is gonna try to use it for something way later down the line, probably. Or I'll just drink out of it because it looks cool. I don't know. We'll figure it out along the way. I just want a really cool looking cup.
Is there a thing in here to just see if you find an item you want to buy?
I put it under carousing.
And then...
Also, I'm making that Peking duck for the party at some point before it goes bad.
Okay.
And yes, she will give you a tutorial on how to eat it if the duck skin confuses you.
I mean, I, Minnow, have never had Peking duck, so I didn't even know that was a thing.
Oh, you never had Peking duck? It's so good.
I believe you.
Joey, make me a persuasion check.
Persuasion?
Mm-hmm.
Surprisingly enough, I'm pretty good at that. I'm better at lying, though. 18 total.
Alright, so Winfrey, throughout the week, and you went into the city, correct?
Yes.
Throughout the week, you kind of peruse through Winterbane. It's not a super huge city, but it's a bit large, so you have to go through a few shops. But by the second shop, the first shop had one, but you were like, nah, I can find one prettier than that. By the time you get to the second one, you find, the perfect fit. It matches whatever aesthetic you want it to have. It is chef's kiss.
Okay, so the way that I imagine this is that it's made out of some kind of black stone. Maybe it has like obsidian or alexandrite in it, something like that. Just something that it would look nice under the glow of a full moon kind of thing. You know, it's super fucking Chunibyo shit.
And how much does it need to be worth?
How much does it need to be worth? How much money do I have? At least 200 gold.
Yeah, you can barter for it with, I know you can, to get it at about a good, like, 110.
What's the actual worth of the item? This is important for Joey. I'll roll something for that as well if you need me to.
I will look up what an ornate goblet is normally in D&D monies. I'm holding my phone upside down.
I don't know if it has anything that specific.
I was just gonna look up ornate goblet.
Well, because I know that Hero's Feast requires a grail made of that is worth like what, 500 gold, something like that.
I think it's like 1,000.
1,500. It's outrageous.
It's 1,500.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm still gonna say you get it at a good haggled price for 110 because again, I do the prices differently anyway for most things.
I'm gonna try to
for Heroes Feast. So stupid.
The main thing that I'm looking for has to do with what we talked about.
Yeah.
After session that one time.
Yeah. So I got you. So it was probably originally like 250, and you managed to get it down to 110.
Sick. For the low cost of 110 gold, you can get 250 gold worth of chalice.
Yeah. So.
That is 100% stolen. That is why it is so cheap.
Alright, so then, Maria. What are you wanting to accomplish within the week of downtime?
Okay. So Maria is going to go to Winter's Bane. And she's gonna spend her week between bars and like it's that city's on the water, so there's like probably at least some like docks and stuff, right?
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Okay, so she's gonna spend her time between like bars and like the docks, asking about a ship called the Elven Beauty to see if it's been in port at all, and if they have seen the captain of said ship.
Alright. I think I can do the same roll I just had Joey make. So, make me a persuasion check.
Yeah. Okay. It's gonna be 24.
Oh, yeah. So, Maria, you get shit done. You know immediately that the people that would know most about the ship are dock workers. You make your way all the way to the docks. You know, stop bar hopping as you go, because Winterbane has a few good bars, which you've come to find out. So you go to the docks and you ask around the dock workers, do whatever you need to do to convince them to give you information. You found out that exactly a month ago, one ship was in, and they know the captain was aboard, but he was not out and social. Like, he was having people come out and speaking for him.
Can I figure out if the crew were all elven people?
Yeah. I would say that when you're talking to one of the ship, the guy was like, oh yeah, and some elvish blokes came in on their big boat and very pompous. Couldn't even talk to the captain to settle our deal on moving his goods. Ridiculous.
They were traveling with goods?
You could call it that. He just says, they had boxes. Paid us a pretty fee to remove them. Don't know what's in them. Someone came and picked them up, and I got my 20 gold.
Do you have like a description of the person that picked them up?
Maria, you would get that there was a person completely decked out in robes, not really much armor, but just robes, with a very peculiar looking set of daggers on their hips that came up and collected the drop off.
Can I get like a race on this person?
When you were being told this by the dock workers, they said that they couldn't tell. They said that the person was standing about roughly 5'11", wearing very concealing, kind of, I don't want to say baggy, but they weren't form-fitting black robes.
Awesome, okay.
But that would be what Maria finds out in her downtime, if that so suits what you were looking for.
Yes.
Alright. Lady Reverie.
Oh man, well let me tell you, Lady Reverie had a plan, and she immediately forgets what the plan was. So the first step is that when we are traveling back, we get back to the Mobius estate there first to sort of like stock up before we make our way off to Winterbane. Everyone sort of breaks off, so I creep up on Chronoheres when he is studying or doing something nerdy, and don't creep up very well. I'm very noisy. However, I do try not to bother you, and I drop a pouch of 75 gold on the desk next to you, and I say, there, so now we're even. Thanks, buddy. And I then leave without bugging you too much more. Step 2, I then go and find Charybdis, and I say, hey, good news. And I hand her a pouch of 75 gold pieces, and I say, here's the money I owe you both. Thanks for that. And we'll then leave. I will then find Benji and say, hey, Benji, I need you to do me a favor. I owe the Mobius twins some money. Can you give them this? And I hand him 75 gold.
Oh, no!
And then once all my debt is taken care of, I then will go to Winterbane with Maria, which I'm pretty sure was her idea. I will pay for both of us to have our own room, because I'm sure at some point Maria's going to want some company, and I am noping the fuck out of there. Whenever Maria isn't busy, I want to spend time just, like, having a raucous, rowdy time at bars with her, or just, like, having, talking as much as she wants to, or anything like that, but mainly just making sure that this is, like, a fun week. I will also try and help her every now and then with her search, but, like, I'm only marginally useful, because I forget what I'm looking for very quickly. However, in the meantime, I am also meeting people in bars. I'll, like, walk by construction workers and just, like, lend a hand for a couple hours and refuse any payment that they want to give. I go around and I heal sick people with lay on hands or lesser restoration if it's a bit more serious. Playing a lot of music. I probably even perform a wedding and a funeral at some point. I meet with, basically a group of very old war veterans and just listen to them, like, prattle on for an hour before they fall asleep. Basically, I do not stay in any one place for more than 10 minutes at a time, if I can help it, unless I'm very, very distracted. And so it's the least productive week of all time. However, during that bizarre series of events, which all kind of blur together for her, he does collectively buy a present for each person, which will use up her remaining gold. After all is said and done, she somehow comes away from the end of the week with 5 silver and 2 copper. And
All right.
that will be her week.
Alright. So, make me... Okay. I guess I'll have you make the same check. All of y'all are doing very, like, social... things, so...
Yeah, it's almost like the 3 people you've asked so far are charisma-based or something.
Yeah, so make me a persuasion check!
I will, and then I want to make what Mickey just put in the chat out loud, so we'll go over that in a second. I got a 24 on a persuasion check. Or Mickey sent that to me privately. Y'all can fucking worry about it.
You said you got a 24?
24.
So everything you just said you wanted to accomplish, you do. And then I will put in chat after I run through everybody what, like, items you get, and you can figure out who you give them to.
Oh, I have items picked out.
Oh, cool. Then go for it.
I had like I think 120 something gold left, and I assumed that I could just buy all these and just use up the rest of it. With your permission, they're just like little trinkets.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I have complete faith that you could do it without.
But yeah, can we do the thing with Maria real quick?
Oh yeah, go for it.
I feel like that's something that should be said out loud. So at some point, probably late at night, Maria and Lady Reverie are at a bar, playing music together. I'm assuming Maria has been just like pounding drinks nonstop. Every time someone buys one for Lady Reverie, she gives it to Maria. So it's like you're feeling nice and saucy. But eventually we reach a slightly calmer, quiet moment where we're away from everyone else. Maria, do you want to just fucking straight out say what you said?
Yeah, so Maria is kind of like leaning back in like the bar seat that she's in, like her finger like casually ringing the beer glass that she has as she like looks around the bar that's kind of like deserted at this point, and then she looks over at Reverie and like, you know, you remind me of my my little brother, who's very different like you. He got distracted often too.
And if I recall, this is probably the first time that Maria has ever willingly told me something about her past, right?
Yeah.
And Maria's fucking trashed at this point, right?
Yeah.
Okay. I think... How do I want to put this? Do I get the impression that Maria is only telling me this because she's drunk? Or do I get the impression that Maria desperately wants to tell me this and is using being drunk as an excuse?
More of the second one. It's very clear after a day of like her running around the docks and like getting information that she's like mentally exhausted and just feels like it would be a good time to like let something off of her chest. And
okay.
Yeah.
Perfect. So Reverie's gonna hold up a hand and be like, I need 4 over here. And the bartender's like, 4 what? But figures it out.
For what?
Yeah. 4, I don't fucking drink anymore. Runner doesn't like it. And then I'll, as if that is explanation enough, once the drinks come over, I say, now, here's the thing, Maria. I absolutely 100% have a bajillion questions about that. And I'm not gonna lie, I do really want to know them, and it also, I mean, I don't want to put words in your mouth, but it seems like it might be helpful for you to get things off your chest. But that being said, the last thing that I would ever want is for you to feel like you didn't have a say in the matter. So I'm just gonna do something really quickly, and I will reach out and touch her hand and use 5 hit points of lay on hand to cure her drunkenness. And then at this, I will wait till the guy has brought over 4 drinks of whatever variety so she can slam them if she wants. And I'll immediately pull my hands back as well and like put them up like a almost surrender sign. It's like, okay, if you want to tell me, I will listen. If you want to be drunk to tell me, I will listen and let you. But I just want to make sure that you're not going to resent me for tricking you, I suppose.
Maria is gonna like kind of like get like a look of like frustration in her eyes, but like after she like eyes you for a minute, she's gonna reach over and grab one of them and downs it, and then like goes back into her slouch position, like she's not drunk obviously, but she's like kind of like given up kind of a like vibe. She's like, if you want to ask questions, you can. I'm just probably won't say anything without you asking first.
Tell me about your brother. I know that you've only compared him to me like 1 time, but I already think that he's the best person.
She's gonna
Not
get
just because he's like me. Although that is definitely a point in his favor.
She's gonna get like a wide grin on her face as she like leans her head back more. He's oh god, he's about like 90 now. He was very creative. He liked to move rocks around on the ocean floor to make like drawings, like paintings, but out of rocks. He used to ask me about adventures that I went on. He always had this bright look in his eye.
Reverie will nod, wait for you to finish, and after a couple seconds, if you don't continue, she'll then say, "Sounds like he really meant a lot to you."
I mean, family does mean a lot to me. I know it sounds like they're like, I hate the world, but there was a time in my life that all I cared about were family.
I noticed that, and maybe you can clear this up for me. I noticed that when you talk about him, you speak in the past tense, but you say that he's 90 now.
She's gonna kind of like scratch her nose a bit as she like shifts and her body language becomes like very closed off as she like leans forward and grabs another one of the ales, and she's like, I haven't been home in about 60 years, I think. Wow. Yeah, Yep.
What's keeping you away?
She kind of like looks at you and then like looks down at herself and then just like waves her hands at herself. But doesn't say anything. And like she kind of appears that she's like more closed off now.
Sure. Reverie gets the gist, however, understanding that I think we've established before that Maria looks a little bit different than other CLs. I think that she then like kind of leans back a bit and says, "Thanks for telling me. I really appreciate it. If it makes you feel any better, Runner is a pretty big fan of you. I don't know how much that, but Runner's pretty great."
Would Maria actually know who Runner is?
You would fucking not.
Yeah, she's gonna kind of like look at you and be like, who's Runner?
Oh, Runner is the person whose body I inhabit. And she just like drinks her water like that is the most normal thing in the world to say.
And Maria looks fucking flabbergasted. Okay, I'm sorry. I know that sometimes that you get distracted, but I need you to focus on this topic. You mean the body you inhabit?
Right, I didn't tell you that yet. I meant to do that like 2 days ago, but that day was so fucking long. Holy shit. Yeah. And she will give you the whole rundown. Yeah.
Well,
I'm not gonna do it now. It takes like 40 minutes, as we found out last time. But she tells you everything that she told Chronoheres. If you had any other questions, she would also answer them. For the most part.
yeah, I mean, I think she would just like get like fascinated and ask like questions if Reverie like remembered anything for like past lives kind of thing, and just like talk your ear off until you go to sleep.
Yeah, she remembers nothing. from her past lives. Although every now and then there's like little glimpses of other things. Like at some point, as she's like thinking about her past life, she very quickly like devolves into a very heavy accent that's similar to Winfrey's, and then just like continues on like she didn't do that. But yeah, you get the impression that she only remembers that she basically came to be about 2 months ago. And
Damn.
doesn't remember a whole lot else. And also, just between you and me, Runner does not like Chronoheres. I'm hoping they get along. But my gods.
I don't either. Don't worry about it.
Wild.
Yeah, he's great. He's great.
And-
He's hard to warm up to.
And right there, just because it's like a good moment, is where I will continue. That was funny. I had to mute for a second, but that was funny. I started like yell laughing when Runner does not like Chronoheres.
Runner fucking hates Chronoheres.
Ugh. But we will loop back around to conversations, but I do want to finish out the downtime. That means, Chronoheres, what are your plans for the week?
Chrono Bobo needs to know how much gold they have in reserve at the Mobius estate. He is scribing spells, performing research, and he is not sponsored.
I will tell you right now, because I'm going to calculate it right here, right now.
Alright. Has to be in excess of 830 gold. At least.
Has to be in excess of what?
830 gold.
Okay, because what I was going to do was I was going to roll a d20 and then times whatever number I got by 50.
Oh.
And I got a 19.
Okay, 19.
Is 950.
Hey, I'll take it. Nice. Yeah, he's cleaning out the coffers. Okay. Yeah, great. So, he is going to be spending basically every workday scribing spells. And then that will take... So 8 hours per workday. It takes 44 hours total. So that will take up 5.5 days. He is going to spend days 6 and 7 making spell scrolls, which I have all the information for, and you do not need to worry about. And that is all he will be doing.
Okay, I think the spell scribing section literally just is...
Yeah, he's got to roll an Arcana check, but that's pretty much it.
Yeah, make me an Arcana check.
Got it. I need to make sure he has the money to do this. Okay. Yeah. 614. Not what I'm looking at. I feel like Reverie right now. Okay.
I feel like Reverie right now.
It's 14. 5. Got it. Yeah, he will make one spell scroll. Arcana check is... Come on, baby. Chronoheres is good at that. It's going to be a 24, which will pass.
Yeah, so you do everything you need to within the work week.
Nice.
Which that made that easy. That means Charybdis, how do you spend the next week?
Charybdis spends most of that time in, like I said, in Saurus's Oculary, which is kind of like the Grand Inquisitor's study/office.
Yeah.
She has looked through a lot of whatever Saurus left behind, has remodeled some of the room, and is just like doing a very poor imitation of what she's seen Chronoheres do when he's trying to figure something out.
So, are you trying to research something, or just relaxing, or...
Charybdis is practicing new ways to use her magic. And is just trying to get better with it.
So, training? No, is that physical training?
Yeah, I'm really just using this week to, mechanically, I'm just justifying her spells changing from her level up. You don't really have to worry about it too much. But if she happens to find something in the oculary that is new information, then that would be dope.
Make me an investigation check.
I will do that and be very poor at it. That's actually not a terrible roll. That's a 14.
It's 14?
Yeah.
Yeah, so... Charybdis, you're kind of moving things around, kind of trying to understand your new abilities, your new magic. And, you know, over the week, sometimes you find it a bit too painful to be in where your sister used to once reside, so you leave, and then you go, okay, I got this, and come back.
When you say painful, by the way, it is literally physically painful in some aspects.
But you go through something, you go through some books one day, and a slip of paper falls out one of the books.
Interesting.
And on that piece of paper is two things. One of them is a drawing of the mirror the lot of you just possessed.
Interesting.
It has notes around it like, what does it do? How can I get it? Will it help me in what I'm looking for? And then another thing is... It's hard to describe this. It looks like it looks like an amulet, like a medallion that isn't attached to a necklace. And it looks like it has a gem in the middle, and all it's surrounded by is just question marks. And it's a circular medallion that kind of looks like it has like a summoning circle etched in it. And when I say that, I mean like the similar sort of like drawings. The geometric sort of circle symbols and stuff like that, but you can tell that that's not what its purpose is. It's just the similar art form, and it has a weird symbol in the middle that looks like the opening of like a jaw, and what looks to be like because this is Sora's drawing it, so it looks like a scribbled gem in the middle, like she just can't figure out how to shade gems. You know, like a set of teeth holding a gem between the front rows of teeth. And that drawing of that medallion has nothing but question marks around it.
Interesting.
And the book that it fell out of has nothing to do with what's written on that paper. It's just a book on, like, it's like a cookbook.
Interesting. Yeah, Charybdis will take the slip of paper and, we'll just pocket it for now, because she knows Chronoheres is very busy. And then she just says, well, an interesting discovery, to be sure. Benji, can you come here a minute?
Yeah. And you hear, like, the steps come up the stairs, and he peeks in the room and goes, yes.
I have not forgotten your request, and I will certainly honor it. However, could you do me a favor and stand in the middle of the room?
Oh, sure. And he does so.
She then kind of walks up to him, and I imagine the oculary is having, like, a domed ceiling, because it's on, like, the top floor. And she takes out the wire sphere, whips it into the staff, and then just taps the butt end of it to Benji's chest. And he, like, if we were looking at it like a movie, the camera sees him, like, begin to float up, and he's like, "Whoa, that's weird," and then it cuts.
Yeah, so at the end of the week, it is the 8th of Phoenix, also on Fire Sun, because directly a week later. Hey, Groove.
Oh my god.
I have one day of downtime after making that scroll, and Chronoheres would like... could Chronoheres use that last day to take that enchanted sword hilt we got from the dungeon and maybe some of the other crafting components here and make them into a knife? And by that I mean a sword.
You would be able to make progress on it in a day. You wouldn't be able to complete it in a day.
Got it, that's fine.
Do you want to make progress, or do you want to save it until another time when y'all have off?
He's gonna make progress on it.
Okay.
There's nothing else to do with the last day.
So... what ingredients are you wanting, what components are you wanting to use? Because you actually have a few, so, like...
We have a lot. But what would he see among this? Because I'm sure he knows better than I what combines with what. But he has, like, fire dust, frost powder, we have rubies, we have ectoplasmic webbing, we have, like, no, he's keeping that. We have the worm pieces.
So, what I can tell you is you can use a combination. Actually, make me an Arcana check real quick.
I thought you never asked. Okay. That is a 17.
Alright, and do you have Smith's tools, right? You have proficiency with Smith's tools?
Yes.
Make me a Smith's tools check.
That is a general intelligence check with proficiency. Please work. Please work. Oh.
No, just tell me what you got.
My dice roller is dying.
Is dying.
Yeah. Alright, I gotta switch. Okay. Dice. Roller. Come on, buddy. No, it's fucked. Okay. Got it. Odds on the dice. Okay.
I'm gonna astral project Groove a set of dice.
Thank you. Okay.
I'm gonna dox him so I can send them to him in the mail.
Right.
Plus 4, plus 7, plus, we'll add that and then that. Oh yeah, okay. Going to be a total of 19.
Okay, so you got a 17 on the Arcana check and then a 19 on the Smith Tools check, right?
Yes.
So, Chronoheres, you
did... bless, or not bless, but he used Emboldening Bond and guidance on that. FYI.
Yes. So, Chronoheres, you can gather that if you combine the ectoplasmic remains with the frost dust onto a sword, you can make a magical weapon that can not only damage, like, ghosts and undead or things that, like, are corporeally challenged, but you can also make a sword that does cold damage. Not cold damage.
Necrotic.
You can basically make a sword that, by combining those two things, can make a sword that does necrotic damage to those things. and other things too. The sword would also work on anything that isn't those things. You get what I mean?
Yeah, I get you. Okay.
It would take you it would take you 2 work weeks to finish it, but you make good progress on it in that you apply some of your ingredients, so use 1 unit each into the hilt. And then, like, know what measurements and shit you need to get the blade worked out.
Got it. Great. So is that 13 more days to complete it?
Yes.
Noted. Thank you. That will be all.
Alright. So, a week passes, and all of you have been doing and getting a lot of good shit done. Do all of you agree to meet in Winterbane for the,
For the meeting, yes.
Yeah, sorry, I brain farted.
Yeah, I think that was the plan.
Do all of you decide to meet literally at the building it's for? Do you meet in a tavern? Like, what would you like to settle your agreement on?
Probably just meeting at the city hall, right? That makes the most amount of sense.
Yeah.
Makes sense to me.
Yes, absolutely.
So, the place you need to meet at is called the Winterbane Customs. There is, and it is basically a mini complex of multiple buildings that have its own little courtyard. The lot of you would meet in front of it, and it is so there's a set of buildings that kind of make like a bracket shape, and then a courtyard in the middle. The building you need to go to is at the very, very back of this sort of like mini complex of buildings. And there's like big statues lining the courtyard. There's a fountain in the middle. It's very fancy, especially considering that the streets of Lysince are like a bright blue crystal material. So it's accented by these light crystal pathways that lead up to the door. So all of you converge onto this meeting spot, and for some of you, haven't seen each other in a week.
Can I do something real quick?
What's up?
So, on the way over here, before we met with everyone else, Lady Reverie would have given Maria her gift, which is something I will post right now. Where should I put that? Character references? Why not? If I post, yeah. Maria, I noticed you didn't have a coat, so I bought you a very expensive coat. Consider it purple instead of red, because I couldn't find the right color. It has a lot of interior pockets, and is very, very luxurious and sturdy. And then she will make her way to the place, like with a bunch of gifts that are wrapped up in like butcher's paper, struggling to carry them all. But you get yours first.
The listeners cannot see the stock photo, but that shit is a smexy looking coat, let me tell
That's
you
a
what.
good looking coat.
Oh, yeah.
The purple
Hey,
matches
if
the
Maria
slash.
decides to wear it, it'll end up being added to her character art.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, she puts that motherfucker on right away.
And it's like it looks very thin and sleek, and it has like that very shiny, like nice material on the outside. It is very lightly heathered, so there's like a little bit of texture to it, but it is also that fur lining, and it is very warm. And lots and lots and lots of interior pockets for sneaky people.
So nice. She would have put it on, and then her face would kind of like look excited like a child on a fucking Christmas morning. But after she like what is that, like, she like snaps the coat?
Flare it.
Flare, yeah. After she does that a few times, she's gonna like clear her throat and like fix her pirate hat a bit and be like, thanks, with her like face like trying to go back to like a neutral thing, like she's not over the moon about this thing.
You get a very big hug.
Oh god.
And I'm just saying, ain't no hug like a Lady Reverie hug. Okay? Of all the hugs in the world, it's like top 3. Yeah, you get a big hug, and then she'll meet up with everyone else carrying a bunch of shit. But yeah, that's where we'll meet.
Hi, Reverie. Do you need help with all of that?
Nope. She says that she almost drops one.
Are you sure?
Yep. Hang on. This is much easier with both arms. Okay. Here you go. She hands over to Charybdis a very small wrapped paper package. She goes over to Chronoheres, hands him one that's a bit more rectangular, and then goes to Winfrey and hands her a big old fucking heavy thing. She says, "Great, so can we go inside?"
I think we'll be needing to open this first,
Open what?
It's too big, I can't bring it inside.
Oh, right, I got that for you. I don't remember what it is. I hope you like it.
Right.
And yeah, I'll do this real quick. So, Chronoheres, you open yours up, and it is a beautiful, full-grain, leather-bound journal made of griffin's hide, and the pages on the left are blank, and the pages on the right have very fine lines, and the edges of the paper are all gilt. So let me... For you, it's about 300 pages. Charybdis, you open yours up. Yours is an exquisite little wooden toy. It has like these little clockwork pieces and hinges on it, and it is in the shape of a small dragon. It's about 6 inches long, so pretty small. However, if you tap the head and then let it hang, the wings will very slowly begin to flap, and then it will hover by itself for 1 minute.
That is darling.
It can do that for once a day, and it is not unfragile, I would say. And then Winfrey, you're not getting a picture, you're getting a whole web page, because I want you to know how much you matter to me. I'm giving you
a brand new car.
I'm giving you the nicest Dutch oven you have ever seen in your life.
What the fuck?
This is, for those of you at home, this is a Le Creuset Dutch oven, which currently is going for $440.
No wonder you had to spend real life fucking gold on that shit.
Yeah.
Somebody
So
give me
that
a
this was the most
Creuset,
expensive
I would marry them. It's a very significant thing.
for the Le Creuset, absolutely. And so yeah, those are your gifts that you receive. And then she is already walking towards the door, having forgotten.
I'm gonna be out of game pissed if you do not thank Reverie for that Le Creuset. Do you know how much bread you can make in that?
I'm not saying it's a magic item in real life, but it's kind of a magic item in real life.
Hey everyone, this is your DM speaking, and thank you so much for watching the 21st episode of RollBound. RollBound's episodes will premiere every other Monday on both YouTube and Spotify. Be sure to follow us on Twitter at RollBoundPC for more updates, TTRPG content, and most of all, memes. Also check out our community Discord server for fun discussions, previews of our content book, and more. Link is in the YouTube description as always, or on Twitter. RollBound's content book, Chess's Guide to Kelmer, is also in the works and will debut when we are sure that it is ready. Tune in next time to watch as the party will have a meeting with some of Lysince's executives in hopes to receive aid for their journey. One last thing, this will be the last time I interrupt Minnow's Meme Corner for those who watch on YouTube or anything similar. What went on at the beginning of this episode, we unfortunately lost an entire session's worth of recording due to some computer issues, so I hope that you enjoyed a few of our players, Groove, Minnow, and Allie, and myself, of course, all coming together to explain what everyone would have missed. I think this only happens one more time in the future for some of our recordings, but hopefully we don't have to do that much. Once again, thank you so much, and we'll see you next time.